It was one of those days that starts like any other, but ends up changing you in ways you never expected. I was sitting in the back of the courtroom, waiting for my own case to be called. The room was quiet, the kind of quiet that feels heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. The fluorescent lights buzzed softly overhead, and the faint smell of old paper and wood polish filled the space. It was a place where lives were decided, where futures hung in the balance. And that day, it was a little boy named Marcus who would leave a mark on everyone in the room. Marcus couldn't have been more than 8 years old. He was small for his age, with big brown eyes that seemed to carry the weight of the world. His hair was neatly braided, and he wore a clean but slightly too big shirt that hung loosely on his thin frame. He stood in front of the judge, Judge Martha, a woman known for her fairness and compassion. She had a reputation for being tough when she needed to be, but also kind, a rare combination in a place like this. Marcus had been through more than any child should ever have to endure. His mother had left when he was just a baby, and his father was in and out of jail. The boy had been passed around from relative to relative, never staying in one place long enough to call it home. He'd seen things no child should see: arguments, neglect, even violence. And now, here he was, standing in a courtroom, trying to make sense of a world that had been anything but kind to him. Judge Martha leaned forward, her voice soft but steady. "Marcus," she said, "we're here to make sure you're safe and taken care of. Do you understand what that means?" Marcus nodded, but he didn't say much at first. He just stood there, fidgeting with the hem of his shirt, looking down at his scuffed shoes. His shoulders were hunched, like he was trying to make himself smaller. Invisible. My heart ached for him. How many times had this little boy been let down by the adults in his life? How many times had he been told, "We'll take care of you," only to be left waiting? Then, out of nowhere, Marcus looked up at Judge Martha and said something that made everyone in the room freeze. "You're my mom," he said, his voice trembling but clear. The room went completely silent. You could hear a pin drop. Judge Martha blinked, clearly caught off guard. She leaned back in her chair, her face softening as she looked at him. "Marcus," she said gently, "I'm not your mom. I'm the judge. I'm here to help you." But Marcus didn't back down. He took a step closer to the bench, his little hands gripping the edge like he was holding on for dear life. "You're my mom," he repeated, his voice breaking this time. "You're the only one who listens to me. You're the only one who cares." Tears welled up in Judge Martha's eyes. She took a deep breath, trying to keep her composure, but you could see the emotion. That day she made a decision that would change the company forever. She announced a new initiative, one that prioritized employee well-being, encouraged open communication, and ensured that every single person in the company felt seen and valued. And at the heart of it all was Robert. A friendship no one expected. Over the next few months, things changed. Employees worked hard, but they also took breaks. Meetings started with quick check-ins about how people were actually doing. And for the first time in years, Margaret didn't feel like she was running a company alone. One evening, as she was leaving the office earlier than usual, she saw Robert mopping the same hallway. She smiled. "Good night, Robert." He grinned back. "Good night, ma'am. Hope today treated you well." And for the first time in a long, long time, Margaret could honestly say, "It did." Hey everyone, if this story moved you, if it made you think, or if it reminded you why we need to keep having these conversations, please take a moment to like this video. It really helps spread awareness. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Have you ever witnessed or experienced something like this? Let's talk about it. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're here to share real, powerful stories that need to be heard. Lastly, share this with your friends and family. The more people who see this, the more we can bring awareness and change. Thank you for watching and being part of this journey. Let's keep pushing forward, together.